So, our guest today is Tate. He is a recent college grad with a degree in biology and is interested in all things nature. He now has a class called What a Wonderful World at the Virtual Senior Center, and we are now talking online. Welcome, Tate. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience, like your name, where are you in school, and what do you study, what class do you teach, and for how long?
First and foremost, thanks for hosting this and kind of raising awareness to what we do at the Virtual Senior Center. My name is Tate. I have graduated from Gustavus Adolphus College. It's a small college in Minnesota. I graduated with a biology degree. Like you said, my class is What a Wonderful World. I've been running it since January of 22, and so over 2 years now. What I do is I take the class around the world. We have a specific location of the week where I dive into some of the geography, the flora, the fauna, sights to see, whatever I find in my research at this location. We like to, discuss the beautiful things that we see, and any questions that come up, love to answer them at that time. So that's kind of a little bit about me, where I'm from and what I do here at the Virtual Senior Center.
Yes. Thank you for your introduction. That's very clear to our audience. So also, it's so nice to have the young generation to engage in our community. And again, as a young generation, you have lots of choices to choose to do in your life. So come to our next question. So why did you decide to volunteer here, and how did you know the VSC?
The inspiration to volunteer at the Virtual Senior Center came from a previous job I had. I was working as a personal care aide with several disabled veterans, and as a part of the Veterans Affairs social support structure that they have, I think it was bi-weekly meetings with one of the social experts at the VA. And these meetings were just to kind of expand their social bubble, especially over COVID. And these meetings would light up the patients' days. They'd smile, and whether or not they were, talking a lot back and forth, they just loved to listen in and have someone else to converse with and interact with. And so that kind of inspired me to look out and see if there's any other ways that I could virtually, make a social impact and expand somebody's, bubble of communication. And again, this was back in January of 2022, so it was just post-COVID, and so there was a lot of restrictions as far as volunteer options go. And so, after a few quick Google searches, Selfhelp was kind of one of the top options, and that's how I, kind of jumped in.
Because the pandemic started, and also your last job, and also we are happy that we show on the top when you search, and also have you in this community. So yeah, also you just mentioned the members in your last job would like to listen to people around them and also like to engage with. And I also went through some of your past recording classes, and you introduced the Red Sea Island and the North Sea, etc. So there are lots of things all over the world, and it might take you some time to prepare for the materials and slides. So how do you prepare your class?
I'd say preparation takes, if I'm focused, probably around an hour per class. But what I do is, identify a spot I want to take the class, do a preliminary search, kind of get the general orientation of where the spot is, what country it is or what country it's in, the surrounding landscape, the climate, the weather. Then I dive into some of the sights to see, and then I specifically like to identify endemic plants or animals, meaning plants or animals that are only found at that spot, really highlight those. Sometimes dive into food and culture, but it's really just a bunch of Google searches that kind of funnel on down to the bits and pieces of the location that I find interesting, and I think that our class members will as well. And so I compile all of that info in our classes and into our slides, and any one of the members would probably agree. I kind of follow that similar pattern of class structure, so it's familiar. Everybody kind of knows what they're jumping into.
Got it, got it. So it seems still lots of things to prepare and also choose them based on something interesting. Also, you just mentioned you majored in biology. So how does the biology influence your class topic and what do you choose to focus on?
I chose to major in biology as I've grown up watching nature documentaries, and so that in turn kind of influenced this class as well. The reason why I want to highlight our beautiful world. I call myself the dollar store David Attenborough, the
Yes.
old English narrator. But my biology degree, I lean upon in the class when it comes to some of these unique and interesting factoids when it comes to animals. Like I kind of nerd out talking about, say, how chameleons can change color, or say we go to Hawaii and talk about certain types of spiders. There's adaptive radiation, a callback upon some of the old lectures that I listened to, and implement that in the classes. And so I think that's a really fun way to use my degree and contribute to the educational nature of the class.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. And also, that sounds very interesting, like to help our members and the audience to go deep into this topic. Like, because most of them are homebound. So if you tell them something that they can't travel to that place to go into, and they will be interested in these topics. This is also related to our next questions. Like, what impresses you most when you are teaching? And also, are there any favorite memories you would like to share with our audience?
One, I think overall the inquisitive nature of the class members is pretty impressive. They're always keeping me on my toes with their questions. I have notes on my phone that I scroll through and can read off. But because I have my phone at hand, anytime they have a question that I can't answer, I don't have the notes on. I'm diving back into a Google search to see if I can answer it quickly. So they're always coming up with questions that I didn't think of beforehand. I didn't think through, and so having all these different class members, and them working through the thought process and intake of the info that they're consuming, I think that's pretty impressive. I think it's also impressive with how related they are. The class members, they've really grown to a community. It seems like they're all familiar with one another. They all bounce around between different classes, and so I think it's really impressive to see the friendships that they've made. But I would say one of my favorite memories was at the end of my first class ever. I took the class members to the Caribbean Sea, and at the end I noted that I had a reef tank with corals of my own, and they asked for me to bring that back next time and show them pictures of my own reef tank. And the next class period came around, and sure enough they asked right away to see that. And so I think I hold that near and dear in my heart, because they're not only relating to one another and building these friendships with the other members, but also with the volunteers, with the class facilitators. They look forward to you and your input, and they want you to be engaged with them. And so I think that was one of my favorite memories.
I can feel these connections. They are very passionate about the topic they've never learned. So if you introduce something new or something that they've never heard, they will keep on asking you, what is that or why? And like, also, as we just mentioned, because we have lots of classes at the Virtual Senior Center, so some of them might take the same class, so the friendship has already connected between them. So it's so nice to hear these stories between them, and glad that they impress you so much. Thank you again for taking your time to volunteer here, and also have such a great class with our members. Come to our last question. Is there anything you would like to share with us?
I think I'd just like to share my appreciation for the Senior Center as a whole. I think it's a really fantastic thing that they put out. Anytime I share, this is kind of something I do on the side. Every single person that I've brought this to, they're all amazed and think that this is a wonderful idea. They wonder how this isn't more prevalent, how this hasn't spread. Why aren't more people doing this? And so, I think this is a really special thing that they've got going on. And, to contribute to that, really great. And all the different classes, all the different volunteers, they put out such diverse classes with as many topics as you can think of. I'm just really happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your words. Because most of our members are homebound, so they may never have time to go to nature to see something, but you bring these things, this knowledge to members. Thank you so much, Tate, for joining me and also recording this episode together. This is the end of episode, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening. If you're interested in any topics, you can leave a comment or find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.